Hello, hello. Bl'Art here, with wings graven with emotion. Did Llyud, Cled? Lost Chapter Shinryu Fight. We got a no-burst team featuring Edge, Core, and Ash. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, ring that notification bell, you know the drill. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about the fight, what you think about Cled, whether it should be pronounced Llyud. Anyway, Daniel Gabilan. I think I've said that like at least 7 of my videos have that specific voice clip if you want to go back and check. Freaking ruined me with this name pronunciation thing. Anyway, what are we doing here? This is a fight. After Spiritus, it definitely doesn't feel like one, but we're here fighting those weird headless dudes. If you remember right, I don't know if you recall, the last time they showed up, it was kind of a gimme fight, provided you could satisfy the orb, which was to have a stacked buff. They no longer have that orb, so you can kind of say this might be even more of a gimme fight. Really, the only mechanic that they really have outside of their force is that at 90, 50, and 30%, or is that 20%? I forget. They'll automatically go ahead and apply 5 stacks of this nasty debuff with a potent HP poison and some other stat downs. The trick is, the entirety of their kit is completely dodgeable. All of it, every piece of it. And so we got Edge here. You can see there, dodging the threshold attack. I want to say that version, no. That doesn't delay. That one, if it had hit, the regular plus one delays. They have access to that once they fill the first bar of their force gauge, which is not hard for them to do. So their whole real mechanic is just applying the stacking debuff, which is kind of weird given that this is allegedly selling Cled, or I guess Amid Italian, neither of whom really deal with that well. Like even in Amid Italian's case, like you delete, and they still use threshold attack, so I don't really know what the thinking there was, but anyway, the point here is that it doesn't matter because Edge lets you pretty much dodge the entirety of it. We have Core here as a nice functional off-turn FR to pair great with Edge, especially with Edge because of the lock. And we have Ash here, mostly because I like Ash and wanted to use a Final Fantasy XII character who wasn't Cled here. But also to showcase, I guess, how Cled would be useful on a team. I've talked a bunch in my other videos, or in my last video, I should say, about how kind of how kind of neutered the EX charge mechanic has become by virtue of the whole like burst damage and force time thing. I'd recommend checking that out for more details of that thought. That said, this team gets to showcase why that isn't entirely true, because Ash with the EX charging lets Edge keep his 2-turn evasion buff up pretty much the entire fight. Not the entire fight, as you'll see. We'll go into that when we get there, but close to it. So see here with Core, we're trying to charge up, because another annoying thing about this fight is that their force time, when they go into it, it's kind of like the Reno thing. They get 3 turns of it, and they go invincible the whole time. They become immune to non-force HP damage, or non-force attack HP damage, which is just a pain. So we want to go ahead and jump into our force before they go into their force to freeze the bar. And this is perfect. We wanted it to freeze with them above 80% because they get they apply a turn rate down debuff the higher that gauge gets. And this is perfect because this just means they're going to go a lot and we're going to counter the crap out of them. Because Edge is just going to he's going to dodge everything. Also I get to use my nice 2 out of 5 Ultima Weapon Dagger. Getting ready for Faris. Copium in some ways, but who knows. Those elemental lockouts are coming, and they've been doom posted a bit, so we'll see how that goes. But anywho, the goal here ideally is going to be to kill them before their force goes off, because it's not game ending if they get their force time. It's just really obnoxious to have to wait for them to take 3 turns to not die, I guess they get super fast because of the turn rate down, so it kind of is like, what is it even doing? It's I don't know, it's kind of weird. I guess it's a good thing. The pieces of this fight don't really make sense to me. The debuff mechanic doesn't really interact with the featured characters in any way, and neither does the force time. Because if this was like an off-turn FR that we're going here, having the bosses go fast makes sense. but it's not an off-turn FR. I mean, you can use it off-turn, of course, but it's, you don't care whether the enemies take a lot of turns or not, unless your team is built for that, specifically. Anyway, I almost forgot to mention. So, awkward thing about using Edge with Ashe is that, well, Ashe has that turn warp component to her special HP plus, and so I wanted to maximize my counters. So I made the decision. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna let them apply this debuff. I'm not actually going to refresh Edge's EX in Force Time because I don't want to pull the team up and like lose out on counter damage. So that was a choice I made, and consequently I had to use Unicall to get rid of that HP poison before it pushes us below the HP requirement for the fight. So that was a trade-off that I made consciously, although it might have looked like a misplay. I guess there are probably ways around that beyond how we did it there, but different team or whatever. But like I said, I wanted to use Ashe. Ashe is pretty cool, and I think doesn't get to spend that much time in the sun right now. Just not a whole lot of FR synergy. So I was like, you know what, she fits in this fight. Let's use her here. There we go, Edge with the EX. You may have noticed that I did use it earlier in the fight to keep the uptime on it good. Man, look at this. It's cool stuff. Look at boom. There we go. 7 million damage. I mean, in Force Time, so whatever. And we're almost there. 2 turns to go. And with 2 turns to go, I decide, you know what? Might as well, okay, fine. We do one more counterattack. Because we're basically done, we're gonna hit them with one more giant count. Really, that was over 7 million. Hit them with that Reaper's Gale after making sure our HP requirement is good, and we're gonna finish them with style. And by style, I mean I'm gonna make the thumbnail kind of generic looking as a result, because we're gonna go ahead and pop that Brothers Summon. Doom, 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 boom. There we go. That was a zillion damage. But anyway, there we have it. Not much of a fight. Kind of a weird one, but the lost chapters always are kind of breathers, so whatever, we'll take it. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you in this next video. I hope you enjoyed. Adios.